Stop scrolling. Donald Trump just lost a massive court battle, and what I'm about to show you will change everything you thought you knew about the next 72 hours. Less than 11 hours ago, a federal appeals court made a decision that could destroy Trump's entire legal defense. They rejected his immunity claims completely. Now, Trump's legal team is scrambling. Prosecutors in 3 different jurisdictions are about to hit him with criminal charges that could send him to prison. The stakes have never been higher, and the clock is ticking fast. This isn't just another legal setback. This is the beginning of the end for the defense Trump has been relying on. His team thought they had a safety net in the Supreme Court, but now, silence. That's right. The very justices who were supposed to protect him have stayed quiet, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Trump's legal strategy has collapsed, why prosecutors are closing in, and why the countdown to accountability just got a whole lot shorter. Stick around. What happens in the next 72 hours could change everything. This isn't just about one lost court battle. It's about a whole series of devastating blows to Trump's entire legal defense. The immunity claim, gone. But here's the kicker. This rejection isn't isolated. It's part of a much bigger unfolding crisis. And the most shocking part, it's only going to escalate from here. You see, this rejection isn't just a setback, it's a signal. The door to Trump's legal escape is closing fast. Prosecutors in 3 different states are moving forward with charges that could land him behind bars. And get this, 17 former federal prosecutors, people who know the law, have already signed off saying Trump's actions meet the legal standards for insurrection. But here's the part nobody's talking about. Trump's legal team thought they had a safety net, the Supreme Court. They thought that, once again, conservative justices would swoop in and save the day. But silence, no intervention, and this silence, it's deafening. Now think about this. In 48 hours, a major court hearing is scheduled. But here's where it gets real. Trump's team is scrambling to shore up defenses that were already falling apart. And it's not just the courts. They're fighting multiple battles on multiple fronts. In Georgia, the infamous phone call with Brad Raffensperger is coming back to haunt him. In Florida, the classified documents case is gaining serious traction. And in Washington, the January 6th hearings are still fresh in everyone's minds, with new revelations surfacing every day. And here's the kicker. Trump's response isn't to get serious, it's to lash out. Truth Social posts, threats of unrest, attacks on judges. This is where he goes off the rails. The more he rages, the worse it gets for him, because every post, every rant, it's all being collected as evidence. The pressure is building in real time. What happens if this continues? What happens when the walls close in and Trump has no more options left? This isn't just a political crisis. It's a full-blown legal disaster in the making. Now, let's take a step back and think about this from a different angle. How does this affect you? Because all of this, as chaotic as it is, has real consequences for people on the ground, ordinary Americans. What happens when a former president, who was once the most powerful person in the world, faces the kind of legal reckoning Trump is now dealing with? We're not talking about legal theory anymore. We're talking about real people, real lives being impacted by the fallout. Consider the fact that law enforcement is already on high alert. Washington, D.C. is locked down, with federal courthouses surrounded by new security barriers. Capitol Police are on elevated readiness. Counter-protest groups are organizing. It's a powder keg waiting to explode. And it's not just a political spectacle. It's a matter of public safety. This is where things get unsettling. The country is gearing up for the potential of violence. Extremist groups are already making noise online, and law enforcement agencies are bracing for impact. This is the reality of where we are. The next few weeks are going to get ugly, and that ugliness won't just be in the courtroom. It could spill out into the streets too. If this feels familiar, say so in the comments, because if history teaches us anything, it's that this situation is spiraling towards something we might not fully be prepared for. But beyond the chaos, there's something much deeper going on here. Because this isn't just about a former president fighting a legal battle. It's about a system that has been broken wide open. And that's where the real danger lies. You see, Trump's situation is no longer just about the man himself. It's about the very system that allowed someone like him to rise to power in the first place. For decades, presidents have relied on a certain set of norms, a political deference that shielded them from true accountability. That's what's changing now. Look at how fast things are moving. These court decisions, the criminal charges, charges, the investigations, they're all moving on a legal timeline, not a political one. And that's a huge shift. Trump's team was counting on delays, on pushing things into next year, counting on the political calendar to protect him. But the courts aren't playing that game anymore. The system is working as it was designed to work, methodically, relentlessly, indifferent to the political stakes. Here's the unsettling truth no one wants to acknowledge. The rejection of Trump's immunity isn't just a legal ruling, it's a constitutional reckoning. The system that once shielded presidents from prosecution, it's gone. That protective wall is shattered. And once that wall falls, everything else changes. So what happens next? We're at a crossroads right now. And the next few weeks could take us down two very different paths. The legal clock is ticking, but the political storm is only just beginning. On one hand, we have the legal timeline. In 28 days, the D.C. Circuit will issue its full opinion. If they don't intervene, Trump's trial is locked in for March 4th. That trial will be a spectacle, an unprecedented moment in American history. And once it begins, there's no going back. The charges are serious, the evidence overwhelming. Prosecutors are building a case that's already damning. And once that jury is seated, it's going to be hard to undo the damage. But here's where it gets even more uncertain. On the other hand, you have Trump. This man isn't going down without a fight. He's already escalating his rhetoric, attacking judges, threatening civil unrest. His words are being watched closely, and the real question now is whether that rhetoric will trigger the kind of chaos we saw on January 6th. This is where the uncertainty lies. If Trump continues on his current path, it could lead to even more political instability. But if the legal system moves forward as planned, we could see a historic conviction. Either way, one thing is clear. The next move isn't in Trump's hands anymore. It's in the courts, and it's already in motion. And here's the truth nobody's talking about. No matter what happens, the old system is already broken. The idea that a former president could be shielded from criminal accountability, that the laws don't apply when you've held the highest office in the land, that's gone. This decision, this moment in time, it changes the game forever. Because once that protective wall of immunity crumbles, what happens to the next person who tries to break the law from a position of power? The answer is clear. They won't get away with it. And what happens to a nation where its leaders are held accountable, no matter how high they've risen? It's a nation that begins to restore trust in its institutions, a nation that starts to heal. But that doesn't mean we're done here, not by a long shot. This story is far from over. It's just beginning. The next 10 weeks will shape not only Trump's fate, but the future of American democracy itself. As this historic case unfolds, we'll be here tracking every new development, every court filing, every new twist. If you want to stay ahead of the mainstream narrative, if you want to understand the legal mechanisms driving this, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Trust me, what happens next will move faster than you can process. Drop a comment. What do you think happens next? Will Trump be convicted before the election, or can he delay it all the way past November? I'll see you in the next breakdown.